to recollect whatever. Look here. So what we discussed the what is data modeling, okay, and why it is required. So data model is something like in the architect's blueprint, okay, and without having the solid data model design in place, if you proceed with building your any application, right, it can lead to major or it requires dramatic change to your model. There could be chances, okay. The reason is later point in time, right, without having the proper or solid data model design in place, and if you build an application later point in time when you realize, hey, it requires some changes to the data model, it is going to be a major effort. You need to do everything. Sometimes what will happen, you need to do everything from the ground up. It's something like you constructed a house without the blueprint. After constructing the house, if you make changes to it, what will happen? If it is a individual house, fine. If you are living in an apartment, what will happen? It is going to be a major rework. You will have to break your neighbor's wall, and you need to break the person who lives above your flat, right? It is going to be major. So that is the reason why what we do is we make sure that the data model design is perfect before we proceed with the coding part or building the applications, any web application or mobile applications. Make sure that the data model design is in proper shape, and then you go ahead and do that. So the why we need to do the data model design when it comes to Power BI. See, data model design is independent of Power BI, whether you use data Power BI or not. So this is a common practice which we follow it before we build any application. Okay, as I said, if you want to build a web application, mobile application, before that you need to make sure that you have the solid data model design in place. In this case, you are going to learn Power BI. When it comes to Power BI, obviously you need to learn how to do the data model design. You need to make sure that you have the proper model in place before you start with your the report building, all the things. Okay, but in the case of what is that Tableau and ClickSense, you don't have to the data model design. It takes care of it automatically. But one way it is good, you are going to learn the data model design also as part of Power BI. Okay, but usually, traditionally, what the companies they do is, as part of the business intelligence practice, they will have a dedicated data architect. Okay, whereas a business intelligence or you take any application, they will have a data architect. He is the one responsible for doing the data model design. But as a Power BI developer, once you learn how to do the data model design, right, apart from report designer, you are good in data model design also. So in that case, what will happen is, in that case, what will happen is you are going to complement your skill set. But when it comes to Power BI, yes, compared to other reporting tools, you don't have to do the data model design. When it comes to especially the data visualization tool like the Tableau and ClickSense. But when it comes to Power BI, you have to do the data model design. But there are cases, what will happen is the customer, they would have done the data model design in their data warehousing environment. If they have the data warehousing environment already already they implemented it, they would have done the data model design, everything. In that case, you don't have to do it. But still, to create the reports, you should be knowing, right, which tables having what relationship, all the things you should be knowing it. You should be understanding the underlying the design the underlying the design practice, what they follow, right? You should be understanding that one. The next question is why why should I learn the data model in Power BI? So like other Tableau and other tools, ClickSense, can't we do it without doing any data model? So you don't have to do the data model design because the Power BI automatically detect the relationship between the tables. In simple term, data model is nothing but you identify all the tables that are required to create your reports, and as part of each table, make sure that what are the columns that are required, right? So to build your report. Apart from this, you need to create the relationship between the tables. Without creating the relationship in Power BI, when you create any visuals or report, it will not do the filtering properly. It will not do the filtering. It will show inaccurate result. That is what I have shown in the past thing. Look here, this is what my relationship already we have created. These are the tables. Okay, sales fact table, and these are the dimension tables. 4 dimension tables are there. The customer dimension, product dimension, location dimension. These are the dimension tables. All from all these dimension tables, the ID column, in this case, customer ID and product ID, location key, and the date key flows down to your fact table. Okay, fact table. So now what I do is, for example, if I wanted to find out the total amount spent by each customer, so this table will filter this one. Okay, the fact table. I just go here and I'm going to select this one here. I'm going to select the table. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand the customer dimension table. Here I just drop the customer name. Along with this, I'm going to drop the, for example, the sales fact table. I have something called the sales amount. And if you notice one thing very clearly here, let me just open this one. One second, let me just. Okay, so in this case, what happens here is, if you see the customer name, it comes from the customer table. Look here, it is coming from the customer table. The sales amount comes from the other table, the sales fact table. Okay, this one, this column comes from this table, sales fact table. Okay, so these two columns are coming from two different tables. One is coming from the customer dimension table. This one is the customer name comes from the customer dimension table, and then the sales amount comes from the sales fact table. Got it? Here what happens is, I'll just take another visual. I'll create another visual, table visual. Okay, this is my table visual. Okay, just beneath the visualization, it is available. And if I just drop the sales amount alone, what is happening is, it is showing the total sales that we made it in my fact table. All the records put together, what is the total sales? Look here, if I go here and I'm going to select the fact sales, if you see this sales amount column, all these value put together, what is the total sales? That is what it displays here. Okay, and then, okay, that is what it displays here. Now I want to see the breakdown of the amount spent by each customer, the breakdown of the sales by customer. So in that case, when I drop the customer column here from my customer name column from my dim customer, what happens? It gives me the breakdown of the total sales by customer. Each customer, how much amount they spent so far. What is the total amount spent by each customer? All the records put together, it gives me that. How it is doing? See here, when I just dropped the sales column here, sales amount, it was giving this value only. Along with this, when I dropped the customer name, it gave me the breakdown of, out of this total sales, how much sales, how much money spent by each customer. That is the breakdown was given automatically. Okay, that is the breakdown was given automatically. Okay, good. So we got the breakdown. So, but did I write any logic for this? Did I write any script? Nothing, right? That is the beauty of Power BI. How Power BI, along with this numeric data type column, numeric column, when I drop a text column, it gives me the split up. Out of this total is how much each customer they spent the money here. gives me the split up automatically. How it is possible? Because the relationship. We have created the relationship. Okay. Since this table have one-to-many relation fact table, it can filter this table, which means the customer ID will be for each customer, the customer ID will be sent here. And for that specific customer ID, it will take all the relevant records and it will apply the sum on the sales amount column. And then it goes to the second customer, Hemal. Hemal customer ID will be sent. It passes this Hemal customer's customer ID to this table, and all the transaction done by Hemal will be grouped together, and then it applies the sum on the sales column. Now you might be asking, now is it can't we use any other aggregation sum other than sum? Okay, yes, you can use average, minimum, maximum. Okay, and anyone will think that, right? They'll ask about this question. So why sum? Why can't the other aggregation functions like average, minimum, maximum? The sum is the default aggregation function. Okay, that is the default aggregation function is used in the case of Power BI for the numeric columns. These are numeric columns. So hence, for example, if I delete the relationship between these two tables, if I go here, look here, what is happening here? It is showing the total sales for each and every customer. It is repeating the total sales across the rows for all the customers. It is not giving the split up correctly because there are no relationship exists between the customer table and then sales fact table. We dropped it. In order to the splitting, automatically, you need to create the relationship between these two. How do I create the relationship between these two tables? What are the common column between these two? Customer ID and customer ID. So you need to keep the cursor over, drag and drop it on top of this customer ID. This sales fact table. That's all here. And then if you go here, look here, it gives me the splitter. Out of the total sales, how much amount spent by each customer, gives me the breakdown. Got it? So with this, you are able to understand the necessity of doing the data model in Power BI Desktop. In conclusion, okay. So now this answers, the question of why data model is required. Without data model, it cannot do the filtering. So what exactly the filtering? And if you want to take a deep dive, look here. There are two tables. This is your, you just think this is your fact table. This is your dimension table. In this case, the country dimension. Earlier, we discussed the customer dimension. Okay, in this case, if you create in this case, what is the common column between these tables? Country ID, right? So hence, you need to create the relationship between these two columns. Since country ID is common between these tables, because my manager wants to see the sales by country name. But here the country ID is that this is not much helpful. He wants to display the country name along with the sales, but the country name is available here and the sales is available here. These two columns are coming from two different tables. Okay, if in order to display the country name along with the sales, you need to join these two tables. You cannot blindly join the tables. For that, you need to create the relationship between these two tables based on the common column between these two tables. Fine? Understood? Okay, once you created the relationship, what will happen is when you drag and drop the sales column into the table visual, it gives the total sales. All these values put together with the total sales, it displayed. Along with this, when you drag and drop the country, what will happen is, since you have created the relationship, first it goes this record, and then it passes this US country ID to this table. And then where and all the US is there, right? US related data, that one will get grouped. Here you have the US data, and again you have the US related data is available here. 3 rows and 4 rows. It groups the US related transactions, and then it applies the sum on the grouped values. So 2,500 plus 7,673, 8,764, 4,251. And then here it applies the sum on. So it groups all the US related records, and then it applies the sum on the sales column. And then what it does, it goes to the second row, Australia. And here what it does is it groups all the Australia related records. Okay, it groups all the Australia related records. And then it applies the sum on the sales column. It applies the sum on the sales column. It groups all the 2024,000 plus 2007 plus 2002. It adds, it applies the sum on all these three values. And then it goes to the third record, GE. How many records are there for GE? Only 2 records are there. It groups all the, it propagates, they use the term called propagate. It propagates the key column or the ID from your dimension table to your fact table. So, and then what happens is here, the whatever the key that you are passing it here, based on which it will group the records, the similar records that have the similar value, especially the country ID, you are passing it here, country ID, wherever the country ID rows are there, it will group that, and then it apply the sum on the sales column. Similarly, New Zealand also the same thing. Okay, New Zealand, what will happen is here 2 records are there. Here it will apply the sum on this column. 7621 plus 1000, 8642. Okay, 8642. That is the sales. You understood? So this is what filtering is all about. Please remember that this is a very fundamental thing. Fundamental building block. You need to aware of this one. Without that, you will not be able to understand the further thing. Okay. Okay, what is the next thing? What we will do is I just go to the slideshow here, and next one is the star schema. Okay, so this is a data modeling process flow. So what we do is, as discussed in the past session, the previous session, as part of the requirement space, right? End of the requirement space, they come up with the conceptual data model design. What they do is, as part of this, they will identify the entities. Entities are nothing but the tables. What are the tables are required in order to create the reports or the reporting requirements given by various departments in my company. So in that case, you are going to hold a discussion with all the department managers, or within the same department, you are going to have the discussion with the top level to the operation level people. You are going to have a discussion. You will be having a discussion. And then once you talk to them, you will identify for the entire department what are the reports that needs to be created. In order to create all those reports requirements, right, raised by the specific department, what you are doing is you are going to identify the tables that are required. Okay, I identified these are the tables that are required, and then each table, what are the columns we need to have it, and then we need to identify the key columns, okay, and then relationship between the tables. And then what we are doing is we are visualizing the data, okay, and then we visualize data and we see in case of any other keys that needs to be included. And finally what we do is, once we complete the data model design, the conceptual and the logical data model, and then the physical data model, we will share it with the stakeholders, all the VP and all the the key people, the decision making people will share it. And once they see it, and then they finalize and vet it with the stakeholders. Vet it in the sense they will get it approved from the stakeholders. Okay, and if they say yes, go ahead. And then what they do is they are going to physicalize. They create all the tables in the database. Okay, when it comes to data warehouse, okay, there are 2 types of data model design they are going to do it. They'll be doing it usually. The one is the star schema design. It is also called as a dimensional modeling. Okay, dimensional modeling. Either they come up with the data dimensional modeling like a star schema, or they come up with they design snowflake. There are 2 types of dimensional modeling: star schema design, other one is snowflake schema design. So what is the star schema? What is star schema? So you can see it here. In the middle, you have the fact table. The fact table, this is called your fact table, sales fact table. Surrounded with the fact table, you have the various dimension tables. The fact table is surrounded by dimension tables. If you see here, since a fact table is surrounded by multiple dimension tables, we call the star schema. The fact table is surrounded by multiple dimension tables, we call the star schema. And okay, what is the other thing you need to remember when it comes to star schema? Okay, these are called your dimensions, right? So all these things, this is your customer dimension. Let me see some other thing. Yeah, look at this. This is the best example. So this is my fact table. This is my fact table. So this fact table, was surrounded by 4 dimension tables: product dimension, territory dimension, customer dimension, date dimension. Got it? Okay, so now the question is, what are these dimension tables? Why, the fact tables? All right, in this fact table, we have the combination of the key columns from all these dimension tables. See, the product dimension is also called as a lookup table. Remember all these terms because once you get into a job, the customer, they use different terms, lookup table, or usually they use this term, the dimension table. Okay, dimension table. So this is your product dimension table. This is your territory dimension table. This is your customer dimension table. This is your date dimension table. Okay, in this case, the product dimension table, right? It is the dimension table also called as a lookup table. Got it? So, okay, what is this? What is so special about this dimension table? So, it is also called as a master table. Traditionally, in the conventionally, right, the past days they used to call it a master table, but the master table is slightly different from this. But you just think this is also called as a master table. What do you mean by master table? In the master table, you will not have the duplicate of the products. Supposing we have something like your product called something like you have some product called laptop, right? You have something called HP laptop. So HP laptop, they will be using the code like HP01. This product ID should not be duplicated. It's something like Aadhaar number, right? Each person will have a unique Aadhaar number. Similarly, each product will have a unique product ID. Got it? Each product will have the unique product ID. So in that case, what will happen is, right, the product dimension will have only one record for each product. The product should not duplicate it. Similarly, customer and date and territory. Territory is nothing but, region or something like that, okay? But here, you will have the product ID and then, other things or other properties of the products, and then the dealer price, other things, right? And then plus you will have the product name here. Product ID and product. You just think at this one, product ID and product name will be there. But here you will keep only the product ID. You will not keep the product name here. Okay. Because we don't want to keep everything in a single table. You just think, in your kitchen, if you keep all the items in a single container, what will happen? Everything will get mixed up. That is not the desired one, right? So hence what you do is you keep the different items in different container. Chili powder, you keep it in a separate container, and salt, you keep it in a separate container, right? You don't keep it everything in single. Similarly, logically, right, we keep the data, the relevant data in different tables, and then we link these tables, okay? So in this case, you will have the customer, here you have the customer key, and then you have the product key, and then you have the territory key, and then you have the date key here. The customer key, product key, and then the territory key and date key. Okay, all the key columns, this fact table will have the key columns from all the dimension, from all dimension tables. Dimension tables, plus it will have the fact in it. Facts. What are the facts? Facts are nothing but the order quantity and then the sales amount. These are called your, okay, these are called your facts. These are called your facts. The order quantity and sales amount, and right, these are called your facts. Facts are nothing but numeric values. You just think that way. Facts are nothing but numeric values. So the dimension table will have only the key columns plus the product name and all. Okay. So now, in the case of fact tables, it will have only the key column from all these tables. Key column is nothing but the primary key column. Okay. It will have all the dimension tables, primary column, you'll be having it, plus the facts in it. Facts are nothing but numerical. So what are the example for facts? You have something called order quantity, sales amount. These are called your facts, which are nothing but numerical. It is also called as a measure. Measure, fact, both of them the same. Okay. But okay, so in the fact table, why do we need to link the fact table with the dimension tables? The dimension tables gives the context to your facts. For example, you have the quantity 10. If you say for a product ID, right, P86 is the product key, and in this product, for this product key, we sold 10 units, and then the revenue was something like 8,000, or the sales amount was 8,000. This is quantity, but if I say P86 for product P86, we sold 10 units, and the sales amount was 8,000. So will that be helpful for you as a CEO of the company or vice president of the company, right? You'll ask what the hell the P86. So then what you do is P86 is available. This is the product key. You need to join this product product ID with this product key. Sorry, product key with product key. And then what you do is you return the product name. See, in simple example, for example, if I give you two sheet, here all the invoice details are there. Okay. And then here the product key is there. And then product name is there. If you go to the mall, you see the billing clerk, right? So how do they do billing? If you take some item, if you listen, you have taken a couple of items, and then you are reaching to the billing section. The billing clerk, what they do is they take each and every of your product. They use the barcode and then do it. But some products, what they do is they do not know the product code, right? What they do is, they take the product code here, and then they enter the key in the code here in the billing system, automatically gives the product name, and then the cost price also, right? Or the selling price. See, if I ask you, this is my invoice Excel sheet or a paper, if I give the invoice paper, in this case, you have only the product key and quantity, sales amount is there, whereas the product name is not there. So if I ask you to, hey, tell me what is P86, what you do? The corresponding P86 value, you check it in this paper, and what is the product name for this? You say, hey, this is nothing but the HP laptop. For HP laptop, we sold 10, and it comes around 8 lakhs, something like that, okay? So the dimension table gives the context to your facts. These are called your facts. Hence, you need the dimension tables. So in order to get the context for this one, right, like HP laptop, you need to join this table with this table, because this is the table holds the product name in it. Since this one looks like a star, because the dimension tables are surrounded with fact table, we call this star schema in simple term. Here, if you see the one-to-many relationship, here one-to-many relationship, you have one-to-many relationship, you have one-to-many relationship here, and then you have one-to-many relationship exists between these tables. Okay, and yeah, the fact table has a many-to-one relation to every dimension. Okay, or one-to-many. Okay, measures are usually sliceable. So what are the example for measures? The unit cost, sales revenue, profit. These are the example. The number data type, right? Numeric data type. Got it? So now you understood what is a fact table. Fact table consists of all the dimension tables, key columns, plus the facts. Or the example, give me the example of facts. The unit cost, profit, unit sold, sales revenue, and so on. Okay. The dimension table will have the descriptive information about the facts in it. Got it? Very simple. And there are different types of fact tables on that. The transactional fact table. Sometimes what they do, whatever, see, this is what your OLTP system. Okay, and this is what your data warehouse. Data warehouse is nothing but it will hold all the historical data here. Okay, the OLTP, it will not hold the historical data, because, for example, you have something on Amazon website. The customers are ordering the product here. What are the product they order it will get stored here. Right, day-to-day transaction will get stored here. For example, you have sales table, okay, sales transaction table. But what happens is in the OLTP system, they don't keep 10 years or 5 years or even 3 years of data, 2 years of data. They keep maximum 8 to 9 months of data. That's all. The case of e-commerce. If you keep more volume of data, what will happen is it will slow down the performance. For example, you wanted to order the camera, right? So Canon camera. What will happen is you are ordering a Canon camera. To fetch the price from this table, since the volume of data is very high, it takes a lot of time to display the cost for the Canon camera, because you stored huge volume of data. That is the reason why in the case of OLTP system, they keep limited amount of records, maximum right, 8 to 9 months records they store it here. And what they do is here in the case of data warehouse, they need the historical data. Okay, they want to keep minimum 5 years of data, so that they can compare current quarter with the previous quarter sales performance, current month with previous month sales performance. And some cases, what we do is current quarter of this year with the same quarter of last year. They want to compare the sales performance. Okay, so in that case, you need to have the historical data, right? So right, so it depends on the in the management requirement. Some industry they keep 5 years. In the case of banking, right, you will have 15 to 20 years of banking. You'll have huge records in it. Okay, and in this case, right, let's say you want to just do analysis for 5 years or 10 years, right? You will store the historical data here. All the transactions will be storing it here. If you store all the transactions here, that is called a transactional fact table. And what they do, some cases, right, they will create some other fact table which will hold only the periodic snapshot. So in this case, what they do, right, every once in a month, you take the data and load it there. So the monthly, they do some kind of aggregation. So region wise, quarter wise, what is it? They do the aggregation, sum of. So in that case, if you have 10 regions, each quarter, how much sales we made in total. That is a kind of thing you will store it. Accumulating snapshot, right? This is also something like an aggregation. Again, the aggregation table also they accumulated year on year, they accumulated. Okay. And the next one is factless fact table. This kind of a bridge table. This we will discuss it later. Okay. This is kind of example of factless fact table. For example, you have the salesperson table and then the region table. And if I ask you in each region how many salespersons are there, right? So, but here, see here, what is happening is, a single salesperson can work on more than one region. A single region can have more than one salesperson. So in Delhi, you just think, Delhi, listen, in Delhi, 10 salespersons are working. Okay. And a specific salesperson, listen, Sanoj Kumar is working in more than one region. Okay. In Delhi and so North and East region. A single employee can work on more than one region, and each region will have more than one salesman. This is kind of a many-to-many relationship. Okay, all the rows in this table are related to all the rows in other table. This is called a many-to-many. In that kind of situation, we use something called factless fact table. This is kind of a bridge table. What we do is, okay, supposing somebody is asking you, okay, how many number of salespersons are working in specific region? Okay, so in that case, you don't have the region related information here or the territory related information here. And also, if I ask you here, right, okay, if I ask you a question like, each salesperson working in how many number of regions? Here, you don't have the region column here. So, okay, because you can keep it here, but if you can keep it here, it causes some kind of redundancy. Hence, what we do is we will introduce something called bridge table. Remember, this is very important, many-to-many relationship. What is many-to-many relationship? If they ask, you can tell them multiple records in a table or associated multiple records are called many-to-many. The classic example, we have something called salesperson region. A single salesperson works on more than one region, and each region will have multiple salespersons. This is an example for many-to-many. This is what this scenario. This is what this is one of the scenario but which we pasted it as part of the data model design, the many-to-many. So what we did, we introduced the bridge table. In the bridge table, the key column from this table and then the key column from this table. We have kept it here. Okay, the key columns from these two tables, we kept it here. Okay, so with the combination of these two things, we can do the filtering of this one. We can do the filtering of this one. Okay, sorry, you can do the filtering of this one. You can do the filtering of this one. Here, you will have both the table, the salesperson and the region will have one-to-many relationship with this bridge table. Okay. Anyhow, we will see that how we can implement it probably a little later. Now, first, we will recollect, right? What are the types of relationships that are exist, right? In the case of data model design, we already discussed about. So what is relationship? Somebody tells relationship. When it comes to Power BI, it is filtering. Relationship nothing but filtering. It is also called as a cardinality. Okay. Relationship is also called as a cardinality. Look here, the cardinality. They use this term. The relationship between the tables can be one-to-one or one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many. one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. One to one is something like, the Aadhaar number, Aadhaar number, and then the citizen, right? The Aadhaar number is, the 100. Each citizen can have only one, Ashok, right? So this person have a unique Aadhaar number. Each person should have only one Aadhaar key. This Aadhaar key should not be duplicated. Okay, it should not be assigned to more than one employee or more than one citizen. This is a classic example for one-to-one. You can just tell them Aadhaar and citizen. Okay, you have a table called Aadhaar thing and the Aadhaar details. Other table you have citizen uh, table. So here you have one-to-one. Okay, but one-to-many is something like I said, the single salesperson is working on more than one region. One north, south, east. This is called one-to-many, and many-to-one is this one, or the single employee, right? Single employee is working on multiple projects, and similarly, right, the multiple employees. For example, Ashok, Rajesh, and Mahesh. Many employees are working in a single project. Let's say you have something called supply chain analytics project. In this project, many employees are working, many to one. This is your one to many. This is your many to one. Okay. And then many to many relationship. Many to many relationship or something like the classic example, the salesperson and then the region, right? The single salesperson can work on more than one region, and each region can work on more than. So in each region will have multiple salespersons. These are the examples for the different types of relation. Now we understood what the types are: one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. If you work on any software project, you should be knowing this one. Okay. It is not specific to Power BI. This is very specific to software projects. You take any software projects, they'll be doing the data model design. This is one of the tasks that they do it. The next one is this is what I explained it here. Okay, meant to the example for one to many, many to one, all the things. The lookup table, the dimension table is also called the lookup, and then the data tables are called the transaction tables are called fact tables. The fact table carries all the transactions. The lookup table consists of all the filtering. All these things I discussed a while back, right? Filtering information. Next one is active versus inactive relationship. Okay. So what is active relationship? What is inactive relationship? This is very specific to Power BI. Data modeling is, it's a common term. It's a common design practice, irrespective of the application that you work on. Okay. But the active enabler is very specific to Power BI. In Power BI, you can create only one active relationship at a time between the table. But you can create more than one relationship between the tables, but you can have only one relationship as an active relationship. The rest of them will be considered as your inactive relationship. So then what is so special about active relationship? Active relationship, what it does is simply propagates the filters to other tables. Inactive relationship, it will not do the propagation. It does not do the filtering. Okay. Okay, now the question is, sir, we can create only one active relationship between the tables at a time. But in the real world scenario, we cannot use only one relationship between the tables. So we have to create more than one relationship between the tables, because we need to filter the table with the different key columns, because my reporting requirements are different, right? By my reporting as per my reporting requirements, I need to filter the tables with more than one relationship between the tables. For example, here, okay, what I will do is here, do I have the date column is there? And for example, if I go here, which let's take this sales W04 and dim date. Let us look at only these two tables. Okay. Here, if you see here, if you keep the cursor on top of this line, what columns got highlighted in both the tables? Date on the left side, on the right side, order date. So these two tables, we have created the relationship based on the common column, date from your dim date table, and then order date from sales W0. In that case, what will happen is, this is your active relationship. Okay, this is your active relationship. And if you see here, right, within these two tables, yeah, here itself it is there, ship date is there. Okay, good. So here, date dimension table and fact table, I have created a relationship between the common column date and order date. In that case, the date will be passed, propagates to this table, which means, using the date column, we can filter the fact table based on the order date column. But there is an additional requirement. Okay, so there is a requirement. The first requirement is something like, hey, I wanted to see the sales amount by order date. Okay, when you create this relationship between the date and the order date, so this table can filter this table by the order date, and then it can do the sum of sales. Next one is so now I need to, another requirement is, we wanted to see the first one is, we want to see, listen very carefully. We wanted to see the sales amount by order date, fine. There is another requirement, we want to see the sales amount by ship date. Obviously, you need to have one more relationship. You need to create one more relationship. So in that case, what we did, if we keep the cursor, date and ship date. So this one is date and ship date. This one is date and order date. Got it? But if you see here, we have two relationship created between these two tables. The first one is called an active relationship. The second is inactive relationship. Here, the date will get passed to this table, and then it will filter the order date, based on which we can do aggregation and all. But since this, this is also a relationship, right? The second relationship is inactive relationship. These two tables have an inactive relationship, right? Because we create more than one relationship. These two tables have the inactive relationship, which means the date will not get passed to or propagated to this table. Okay? Will not. So now the question is, hey, my purpose is I wanted to create two relationships to meet the two requirements. One is we want to find out the sales amount by order date, and the other one is sales amount by ship date. But since this is, though we have a relationship, Power BI consider this a inactive relationship. How will you find out which one is active and inactive? The solid line is active, and then the dotted line is your inactive relationship. Now the question is, okay, the inactive relationship will not send the date from here to here. It will not propagate the date from here to here. It will not do the filtering, because this is an inactive. Though the relationship exists, it is inactive. Something like in a family, two people are there, only one person is earning, other person is not earning. Then what we call him, right? So he is inactive, right? He cannot do anything. So now how can we make this inactive relationship active relationship? We have to we need to make use of this relationship. Okay. But obviously, we need to have more than one relationship, but the limitation with Power BI is, the solid line, right? Only one active relationship at a time you can create it. First time, whatever the relationship you created between the two, that is your active relationship. Rest of the relationship, whatever, that is your inactive relationship. Got it? Rest of them are your inactive relationship. But the purpose of creating more than one relationship, we want to use it. Since it is inactive relationship, that doesn't mean we can't use it at all. Yes, it will not do the propagation, but somehow we have to make this inactive relationship active. For that, there are two options are available. One is you can use a DAX function. Other one is you can create a role-playing dimension. Simply, for example, if I duplicate this table as it is, and then if I keep it here, and if I create one line between the date and order date, okay. And if I, since I copied this table here, duplicate, so instead of having the inactive relationship, I'm going to, create a link between this table's date and order date. So in that case, both the table will have active relationship. You will not end up having this kind of thing. You understood or not? See, if you concentrate here, you should be able to understand. Look here, you just copied this one, but you renamed this ship date. All the values are same here. But here, the date column, here also you have date column, but here you have date column. Date column is, you create a relationship with order date. This date column from this table, you are creating a relationship between these two. So these two are active. Since you have two tables, one relationship, if you create it, it will become active. But if you create, if you have a single table, if you want to create more than one relationship, the first relationship will become active, the second relationship will become inactive. The problem with the inactivity, it will not propagate the data here. To overcome this, one approach is you duplicate this table so that 1, 1, 1, 1. Got it? There are scenario, okay, no, I don't want to create the duplicate because already I have multiple tables. In the real world scenario, you will have, already 16 to 18 tables are there. So you don't want to, create duplicates. When you create duplicate, the table will end up having so many tables. That kind of situation. First approach is role-playing dimension. Second approach is DAX function. You can use a DAX function to enable this inactive relationship temporarily active. And then once your job is done, it will automatically reset it to inactive. Got it? Yeah. I will just demonstrate that because if I keep talking, right, you will not be able to understand. So I will start with this one. Okay, you might be asking this question. Sir, before we jump in active and inactive relationship, how these lines are created? So once you load the data in your Power BI desktop, and then if you go to this model view, the relationship will get detected automatically and it will create it. But more than one relationship, we need to create it explicitly. Okay. But even in this case, the date and year are completely different. We need to create it explicitly. So how do I create the relationship? Okay, supposing my Power BI desktop did not detect the relationship automatically. How can I do that? How can I create the relationship? For example, here you need to find out between these two tables which columns are common, product ID and product ID. Rest of the columns are not available here. So you need to use the product ID, right? So you need to join this table based on the product ID. So what you do is you keep the cursor here and drag it and drop it on top of the product ID of this table. Automatically draws the line. I just show you here. I just drag and drop this over this product ID column in the fact table. Okay, it got created a relationship, right? This is on the one side, this is the many side, one-to-many relationship. And then similarly, right, the customer ID, when I dragged and dropped it, the relationship got created. Manually, if you want to create, you can do it. The other option of manually creating a relationship, you have something called manage relationship. Supposing I'm going to drop this one, delete the relationship. I will show you from this menu how you can create the relationship between the two tables. You need to simply click on the manage relationship icon here. It will open up a dialog box. Here, what you need to do is you need to click on the new here. It will open something like that. So here, if you click on the drop down here, you will find the tables here, dim product. And if you click on it here, the sales fact table, right? So what is a common column, product ID, product, you select product ID and product ID. Explicitly you select it. By default, it's selected, but still, right? In some cases, you will have product ID, but here product space ID will be there or product key will be there. As a domain expert, the product key is nothing but product ID. In this table, they have named it as a product key, but this is nothing but product ID. So in that case, you need to explicitly select it. Okay, this product ID is and this product key, you need to select it. And then if you see here, the coordinate is one-to-many. Yes, it's a product dimension. Here you have one-to-many. Each product can appear more than one time in the fact table or in the transaction table or in the invoice table. In the invoice table, the same product can appear multiple times, isn't it? Because this single product would have purchased by multiple customers, multiple orders. So hence it is one-to-many relationship. The coordinate is one-to-many, many to one, one-to-one, many to many. Okay. So you can see it here. This one is selected, it determined automatically. And then the cross filter direction is single, because in the product dimension table, the product ID column flows down to the fact table. Hence, it is a single direction. Okay. If you want to do the bi-direction, the product ID should flow from the product dimension table, the sales fact table, and at the same time vice versa. From the fact table product ID, I want to filter the product dimension table. This is called a bi-directional relationship. In that kind of situation, you can go here and explicitly specify both. The interview, they'll ask you what are the options are available as part of your cross filter direction. You can tell them single, both. There are two options are available. So in this case, we are going by the default one. So one to many and single cross filtration single. I'm going to hit the OK button. This is the manual way of creating the relationship between the tables using the manage relationship option in your menu. So, and then here what I do is here the sales fact table, and then product table. Where is that here? Yeah, dim product and sales fact table. Product ID got linked here. Okay. And then close it. Once you close it, look here, it will create the relationship now. Look here, it creates the relationship. You watch my video and all these files are available in my website, even the guitar. You download and manually load it and see it. Only then you'll be able to understand. Okay. The dim date, you need to create it. Okay. So what you do is you download the day 2 data model part 2 report file, which is available in my website as well as in GitHub. Download this, simply download it. And then what you do is you pick up this dim date. First thing what you do, right? You download this, remove all the tables, keep only the dim date table. Okay. Dim date, you don't create it manually. I'll explain you later. Okay. How to create the dim date. So keep only the dim date, rest of the tables you delete it. And then load it everything manually. The dim location, product dimension, sales fact table, all things you load it manually, including sales W04. And then you just come here and then you see whether the relationships are getting detected automatically. Okay. And what you do is, for learning purpose, you drop the relationship manually. You can drag and drop it, or else you can go to the manage relationship icon and then click on it and create the relationship. Okay, done. Now you understood. Okay, so here one side, this is many side, one side, many side. From the usually, right, the dimension tables are one side, and then the fact tables you will find the star. This is nothing but many. Okay, now you understood the fundamental concept. The next one is the active and inactive relationship. So we are going to filter the date by order date, and also we are going to filter the date by ship date. So what is the requirement here? Listen very carefully. I'll explain you one scenario so that you'll be able to understand very quickly. All of you are familiar with ordering the products online, right? I hope all of you must have raised an order in Amazon in the past or currently, right? So you'll be ordering the products in Amazon. So what customer they do is, let's say today is let's say 1st February. 1st February, Sanoj Kumar, he ordered a product, but on the same day he made the payment. Okay, 1st Feb itself made the payment. While raising the order date, on the same date he made the payment using his credit card. Let's say another person, Deepa, right? She also ordered the product, some product, okay, on February 1st, Deepa. And then what, she opted for cash on delivery. Okay. So what happens? The item which was ordered by Deepa, right? It got shipped on 4th Feb. 4th Feb. It got shipped. This is your ship date. This is your order date. This is ship date, and this is your order date. Okay, order date. So the ship date need not to be the same day of your order date. But some cases, yes, it is same. Let us assume that in this case, hypothetically, right? So this Deepa ordered on 1st Feb. She ordered a wallet, the purse, okay, but it got shipped on 4th February. So right upon receiving the wallet or the bag which he purchased it, right, on right on 4th February, she will make the payment the day when she received the shipment. So your company, your sales department, they wanted to see the sales amount by order date and sales amount by ship date. Okay, not all the customers make the payment on the same day, right? Not all the shipment you do it on the same day. Two scenarios. Scenario one. There are two scenarios. Scenario one is, I just scenario one. This is your scenario two. In scenario two, you order it on some day and you make the payment on the same day. In scenario two, you order it on 1st February, but you make the payment on some other day. Very simple. That's all. So in order to get this report, the date table date column and then the fact table order date column should be linked. But here the date column and the shipment date column should be linked. The next question is, okay, your mind wise I can make out. So everything is fine. All the tables are fine. What is this date table? Date table is mandatory. Okay, you need to create the date table. So that we will see it later. Okay, with the date table only you can filter it. Okay, without date table you cannot do any filtering. If you take any analytics project, the data warehouse project business, they'll be using date table. You need to have a separate date table. Without that you cannot do it. We will see how we can create that and all later. Okay, at this moment, right, you have the date table already created. So now we want to filter this fact table using the date dimension tables, date column, in order to find out the sales amount by order date. And also we want to create one more relationship wherein we want to find out, we want to filter, we want this dim date table date column to filter the sales fact tables ship date column. Okay, for this I just go here, and what I do is I'll just select the table here. What I am going to do is here I'm going to expand this one, and then the month, I'll just put the month here and the sales amount here. And here the month, I just do one thing here, don't summarize. Here I just go here and then see the month here, sorry, the date column, right? Date here. Month is 1 and all is there. So what I am going to do is I'm going to select the month here. Month prefix is not there here, right? Okay, what we will do is instead, okay, I do one thing. So this is my date column. You at this point you just watch it. Okay, I'm in the data view. I'm going to click on the new column. I'm going to say format. There is something called format function. You don't worry about this. You just watch what I do. Okay, we wanted to display the month in English. Okay, comma. Here you do one thing, M, and then you put it here. Sorry, this is the dim date. The table name is dim date. Dim date, you select the date column. So this one will give you the, instead of saying, 1, right? So month prefix, I say month name. It gives me Jan, Feb, something, Feb, March, April, right? And on. It gives me the month in terms of the names. And then if I go here, the report canvas, what I do is I just remove this one and then I just drop the month name here. I just move this up. Don't summarize. Okay, month name. Okay, I just go here and check what I have used it here. Okay, I have to use sales fact table. I will tell you later. Don't worry. Just at this moment, watch what I do. The order, no, no underscore. And then here, no underscore here. Order date, order date. Here I just press enter. Min of order date, max of order date. Okay. So we are done, right? So month number and month name, everything is available. If you come here, you can see the month name for each month, how much sales we made. And this one gives you the total sales. Okay. And the next one is, so what we did here was, so this one comes from your date dimension table. This one comes from your fact table. So since we have use this one, the default active relationship, right? The active relationship, what is the active relationship between these two tables? The solid line. What is that? The date and order date. So that is what the default one. So here I can see that sales amount by order date, which is nothing. You can use month or quarter also, but end of the day, sales amount by order date on the date when they ordered. How in the same day, how much amount we received it. You just think that way. Along with that, we want to see how much amount we received the date when we ship the thing. In that case, we need to use this relationship. Unfortunately, this is inactive relationship. What I am going to do is I'm going to use a DAX function. I just go to the modeling tab and then click on new measure. What we want here, the sales amount, sum of sales amount by ship date. Okay, fine. So what I do is, first we need to sum the sales amount, right? Here the sales amount by ship date. Calculate sum of sales amount, comma, use relationship. We have some use relationship function. Here what you do is, you need to define the relationship between which table you want to do, which column you need to link it. So in the dim date column, and then in the sales fact table, this time ship date we need to link it. Because I wanted to get the sales amount by ship date. Sales amount by order date, the default it will happen because these two tables have direct relationship, active relationship. Okay, but this is inactive relationship. Dim date, the date column in this table and then ship date in this column are having inactive relationship. Using this function, use relationship, which is a DAX function, we are going to enable this inactive relationship active temporarily. And then what we do is we do this calculation. See, it is something like simple analogy is something like please, your manager has every rights to approve the the cash. Okay, but your manager is not available, right? You are the junior manager or assistant manager until he comes back, right? Let's say he went on vacation. So until he comes back, he has given an the authority to the assistant manager. Until I come back, what you do is you become an active. So when I'm on job, I'm the active person to approve the any expenses amount. Okay, but in my absence, what you do is temporarily you become active, which means the assistant manager will have rights to approve the expenses whatever incurred by the employees or the salespersons. Is something like that. Use relationship functions will temporarily enable the inactive relationship active till this one get completed. Once this total sales amount get completed, this one will reset the relationship between these two tables inactive. See, something like you are going to buy a loan, right? Temporarily, you are running out of money. Temporarily, you go and buy loan, and then what it is, Once you get the money, you are going to refund. It's something like temporarily you are going to enable the inactive as active relationship. So I'm going to sales amount by ship date. I just drop this here. And if you see here, both of them are more or less same here. But if you see September, it is not same. Maybe right on the same day they made the payment, and but the ship date, right? Some payments they received it on the ship date. And if you see here, I know in the March month, the same day itself they ordered majority of them. Okay, that's what. But there are no difference between all these things. But except so even here there is a difference, right? Here also difference. But the total values are same. This is sales amount by ship date, sales amount by order date. Okay. This one, it doesn't require any DAX function because, you know, the date table and then sales fact table have an active relationship. But in this column, right, the ship date and order date have inactive relationship. So we have used the DAX function to enable this temporarily inactive relationship. Got it? This is how we do it. So this is what active and inactive relationships all about. Apart from this, we have something. The other solution is we have something called the role playing dimension. In that case, what we do is we just go to the pivot table. Here, what we do is we just copy this table content. I just go here. I'll let you know. I'm going to select this one, and then we are going to create a new table. The copy of this one. Okay, here what I am going to do is I'm going to the table tools, new table. The same table, I want to copy it. You see how I copy it. I create a new table here. I just put it here. Here I just say, you know, this is your ship date. Ship date dimension table. Here also I'm using the, but here what I do is, I just use the same thing here. Or instead what I do is, I just use the existing table. We have some all function. Here the dim date, whatever the dim date table, right? So dim date dimension. So what this does is all the columns and the values belong to this table will get copied to this table. Okay, I just press enter, it got copied there. Okay, just duplicate of this one. I just did this, and then what I do is here I go to the model here. Look here, this is a duplicate of my dim date table. I did this. I just put this one here. So when you have an inactive relationship, you need to create a DAX function, right? So you don't have that headache now because you just duplicate this table. And what I do is I just drop this relationship between these two tables. Here, see here, the date and order date. Look here, date and order date get. And here, the date and ship date. That's all, guys. The relationship is called immediately. This should only be used if date column and ship date, right? So there are some duplicates are there. What I do is I just go here, and then here, okay, there is some problem here. I just go to the data model, and then the date column. What I do is I just go and select something like this, and here. Yeah, minute. This should only use if it is expected with either column contains unique values that are significantly different behavior of minute is understood. Okay. Here the ship date and the date column are in the different format, right? So hence what we do is we will convert in the common format. Okay. Look here. Here, if you select the date column and if you expand the properties in this, right, you can see that date time is there. This one. Whereas in the order date, if you see here, you have the long date is there. Okay, what I will do is I'll just go and convert the proper. Okay, date is fine and order date is also fine. Okay, yeah, in this case, both of them are fine. But while converting it, some issue happened here, right? Date time, I just converted date. And then I just, did this with a long date. So what I do is I just drop this one into the shift date column. But still it shows, many to many relationship. What I am going to do is, the date and ship date. Okay, it is, okay, in this table, what I will do is okay, and the ship date table, instead of this one, right, I'm going to use this thing here. Ship date, I just go here. And then, yeah, just we will copy paste this one. This is your dim SHP date. Sorry, here the dim SHP date is there now. Yeah, here dim. Yes, since I copied here dim SHP date table. I just modify this one. Okay, this is enough. And if I select this one, I just make it the date data type. And now I just go ahead and make it as many to one. Is not valid for this relationship. Okay, there is another problem here. Okay, what I will do is I just go here, and here instead of order date, I just use the ship date. Okay, and ship date and ship date. Otherwise, what I do is I just remove this one. See, sometimes this confusion can happen. Delete from model, delete this table. So here the dim customer, dim date is there. The dim date table, what I do is I just take this one as it is. Okay, and I'm going to create a new table. Now one to many. Okay. Simply right, when you duplicate it, it will cause some problem. I just took this DAX function, the calendar function, and then what I did, I went to the table and created this one. So now we have one to many relationship. Okay. Now it is working fine. So now what I do is I just go ahead and I'm going to create a month column alone in this one. Let it be there. Okay, we don't have to worry about this. So fine. So now this one is not working because we have removed the inactive relationship, right? So hence it is not working. But when you click on this, only the order date will work because these two tables remain same, right? This is a new table. This is a copy of this table. Okay. So this table, actually, this table is a copy of this one, right? But with this table, we are going to filter this table to get the sales amount by order date. With this, the same table, we are going to use it, but it's a copy of this one. Okay. The same table is a copy of this one. We are going to use it, this table to filter this table to get the sales amount by ship date. Since the same dimension plays more than one role, it is called role-playing dimension. To overcome the inactive relationship issues, right? So we can create this way. But in practice, right, this is not much helpful. Just for you to understand the theoretical point of view, right? I just explained this one. Okay. Here, what we do is we just copy this and paste it here. Here, what I am going to do is I'm going to remove the month name here, and I just go down. This time we need to use the ship date column. Not the dim date, the ship date. In this one, I'm going to, but date here, if you see here, if you expand here, let me see, automatically the month comes here. I just put the month here. And then if you move this up, and if you draw, drag and drop this, the column order get changed. And if you see here, the January month, where is the January month here? The January month is not there here. Look here, January 2060. And what I will do, yeah, it is not displayed in the proper order. Anyhow, if you see the January month here, right? January 2160, here also 2160. And what is the difference? The December month, when you see here 8350, whereas 8006. This is another way of filtering the table. Okay, in the previous case, I have used the DAX function, but in the case of DAX function, we can keep the sales amount by ship date along with the sales amount by order date. But when you use a role playing, you cannot combine these two things. That is one issue. Otherwise, it is fine. Got it? So now we have discussed about what is active and inactive relationship. In the case of Power BI, this is very specific to Power BI. When it comes to Power BI data model design, right? So you can create only one active relationship between the table. You can create only one active. If you want to create more than one relationship, it is possible, but the first relationship, whatever you created between the table, that is going to be your active relationship. Rest of the relationships are your inactive relationship. Okay, how do I enable the inactive as active? There are two approaches. One is, you can, right? So what you do is you can create as many relationships between the tables. And then to enable the inactive and active relationship, you can use the DAX function. That is one approach. No, I don't want to create multiple relationship. Okay, I don't want to use DAX function. Then what to do is you duplicate this table. Okay, and this table, you can filter, this table based on the order date. You can use this same date, but only the difference is the name changed. Okay, so you can use this table's date column to filter the ship date. Since this single dimension plays multiple role, here it filters this table based on the order date. It filters this table based on the ship date. We call this a role-playing dimension. It's something like, right? So for your let's say in your family you have a girl, right? Girl baby, girl. So you are the brother for your that girl. But another female is there. These are two female are there in your family. So one female is your sister, other female is your mother. Single person, right? Having different relationship with the family. The same thing, the single dimension. It plays the multiple role. Hence, it is called role-playing dimension. Hope you understood the difference between active and inactive relationship and how we can come up with how we can filter the tables by temporarily enabling the inactive relationship and active relationship, right? Sorry, inactive to active. One approach is you can use the DAX function. Other one is role-playing dimension. You can use it. So what I do is I'm going to stop until this because in between I agree that extremely sorry. Okay, so many gaps happen. You need time to refresh whatever I taught you today. So is it okay if we can continue tomorrow? Or you need time to watch my video and then practice and day after tomorrow you want me to continue? How about Deepa and Sudeep, Sushmita? Day after is good, right? Yeah, fine. Because even I would recommend the same thing. I can finish it up, but you should be able to understand these concepts. And tomorrow is fine. Okay. What about this one? The other one, I have missed many classes. Yeah, Renuka. Yeah, see, Renuka has missed, and even the Sudeep also missed, and Sushmita also missed the same thing. What will, since majority prefer day after tomorrow? Uh, okay, over tomorrow means day after tomorrow. Oh, okay, okay, over tomorrow. Okay, okay, understood. I wrongly understood your English. Okay, even Sanoj prefers day after tomorrow. So since majority prefer day after tomorrow, we will continue day after. Meanwhile, we'll upload this link in my YouTube. For the time being, right, you watch all the videos from my YouTube. So your playlist name is ends with Sundar. Okay, Jan new batch Sundar. Okay, so here you can find all your batch videos. Few, I guess all of you are aware of this one. Anyhow, what I will do is I will share this playlist because it's a long gap, right? Once again, I will share it. You can go and watch it without fail. Importantly, the data modeling, whatever I covered, right? So that the next class is going to be the continuation of the data model. At least you watch data model videos. That is enough. Okay, rest of them, you know, it's all you can learn it. Okay, the data modeling, majority of them are completely new onto this one. The especially with the people with 0 to 3 years, they do not know what is data model and all. Hence, I would suggest data modeling part 1. I am going to upload this one with the name of part 2, and also will share the playlist once again. Without file, you can practice it, and the data files also I will share the link. You can go and download the data files, and you can and best thing, I will share this one. Yeah, correct, I will share this report file. Here you can see all the relationship. Okay, and what you do, you just download this, and then what you do is you can open this and save it as a different name, right? So that with the new file, for example, you part 3 something or part 2 practice, you just rename it. And then with this practice, what you do is you delete all the tables except dim date. Rest of the tables, what you do is you manually load it from the Excel file. All of them are available in Excel file, right? And then what you do is, see, the dim date and dim ship date, you keep it as it is. Rest of the tables, you delete it, and then you create the relationship manually also. Load one after another, manually, you delete all of them, manually you create it. And then what you do is create the relationship, okay? And then what you do is you practice an active and inactive relationship. Okay. So once you are comfortable, right, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll continue. So day after tomorrow, 7 p.m. we will have it. Okay. Fine. Okay. Okay. Since you're all okay with this time, right? Because night time, yeah, as expressed by others, right? It'll be difficult going late, and tomorrow morning you have to get up work. It's painful thing. All right. See you all day after tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Same meeting invite. Okay.